Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Daryl.
And we're here to talk to you about our Kickstarter project, the Noodler. The Noodler is a polyphonic multi-part arpeggiator that sits between your keyboard controllers and sequencers and all those great synths you have.
Steve and I have a combined experience of over 50 years working for a major chip company. For the past 10 years, we've worked together. We have a great working relationship. When we left that company, we decided we wanted to start an electronic music instrument business, so we created the Noodler.
So the rest of the video will talk about all the features of the Noodler, and we have some other videos on the Kickstarter page that goes into some history and background and all the electronic information and stuff. So thanks for your support and keep watching.
Thanks.
So what actually is a Noodler? Well, it's a multi-part polyphonic arpeggiator, which sounds kind of complicated, so let's break it down a little bit. Multi-part means that it plays multiple parts. It has a pad, a bass, a motif, as well as a drone note, and it will transpose incoming notes from a keyboard. The pad is polyphonic, meaning it'll play chord notes through a single MIDI channel. And we have one fun thing called interleaved polychaining. What that does is it plays the pad notes to multiple synthesizers on different MIDI channels. We'll have a look at that later. So let's have a look at the UI. In the middle there's a color LCD screen. Around it are buttons. These buttons play the chords, and if you hit Shift and a button, it'll play a chord type. The three buttons below are pause and play buttons for the pad, the bass, and the motif. Down the side are 8 encoders. You'll notice the white text. That tells you what the functionality is for each knob. On the outside is yellow text. That tells you the menu options. We'll talk about those in a minute. At the top here, you'll see a button. This toggles these 3 encoders between bass and pad. It's just for convenience. So let's have a look at the menuing system. There are 8 menus corresponding to each knob. So if I want to look at System Settings 2, for instance, I'll click this button, and I'll see that there are 8 settings for that menu. There are 8 settings on each menu, and they correspond directly to the encoders. So if I wanted to change the top right number, I would just use the top right encoder. Now let's have a listen to what this sounds like. Let's start with the pad. When I press the pad button, it'll start playing. What we're hearing are notes coming out of the DeepMind 12. As I turn this top knob, it shows me that the position is changing of the notes. You can hear them turning off and on. Also, you can change the range of notes. You can make it wider or narrower. You may notice that if you change the range of notes, you might run out of voices on your synthesizer. So we came up with a really clever idea called interleaved polychaining. Let's have a look at that now. So I'll go to my menu, and I turn that up to 4. So we'll be interleaving 4 different MIDI channels, and I'll hit a new chord. And now you hear 3 voices coming out of the EMU orbit, and the first voice is still coming out of the DeepMind 12. This creates really cool soundscapes. Now let's have a listen to the bass. We're using a Volca bass for this. I'll click this button to put myself in bass mode. We can change the pattern. There are many patterns in here to choose from. We can also change the variation of the pattern. So we're going up now, we can go down, up and down, and all the other arpeggiator variations you're used to. We'll leave it on random for a minute. We can also change the clock divider, which means it'll go really fast. Now the clock is driven internally right now, and you can see the BPM just under the middle number. Now let's listen to the motif. We'll use a Novation circuit for this, just a synth engine, none of its arpeggiation. Now we can change the pattern, variation, just like the bass, and we can also change the rhythm. Now when you have a pattern with a different rhythm length, you get some interesting polyrhythms happening. It's very cool. Alright, so let's turn on the other things and see what happens. Turn up the bass a little. And then we'll turn on the pad. And you can see that we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 synths going right now, and 4, 5, 6 synth voices being played right now. We don't have the drone note or the keyboard transposer. Every once in a while, Daryl will yell over to me, "Hey, are you playing over there, or are you coding?" Because
It's like, get back to work.
you get carried away.
Every time I walk by it, I have to touch it.
Yeah, yes.
You just have to play this thing. It's really a blast.
Yeah. Please support our Kickstarter, and I guess we just want to say thanks for watching this video. Thanks for trusting us if you decide to support the Kickstarter program, and that's about it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.